Hello, and welcome back to daxsdeviants. In this podcast, we talk about pups, handlers, and deviants alike, and their experiences within the pup community and the wider fetish scene. Today, I am joined by someone a little bit different. Not a pup, not a handler, well, technically a pup. But today, I am joined by the wonderful Blaze, who is our first title holder. Please introduce yourself a little bit.
Well, hello. I mean, thank you for the invite for being here. It's really quite experience so far. Well, most of the people know me as Blaze, but if you've seen my performance on during Darklands, I also have a little bit of a alter ego called Scorch, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Joined the fetish community, I think, in the summer of 2021, and basically just I discovered it, was like, hey, this is my scene, and I just deep dove into it, and then somehow, at some magical way, I actually stumbled into a title, Last Darklands.
I like how you say stumbled into it, as if like did you not plan on taking part in the competition? Did you just kind of decide, oh fuck it, I'm just going to take part, or?
Well, basically that someone so I was already, without actually knowing that superhero was actually like a fetish on itself, I was already developing. I knew I had that kink in me as well, so I already was developing the character, and then from there I had the superhero character. From there I was starting to develop, discussing with friends like, hey, I want to do something else, I want to build a supervillain character. And then a friend more jokingly said, hey, there's a contest for you at Darkland, you should sign up. I was like, this sounds fun, without actually realizing, the actual consequences of what it means to be a title, because, I've never been to Darklands before, never seen the whole thing. And then when they signed up, then the same person was like, hey, you should sign up. I was like, oh, fuck it, let's go. So I signed up.
That's great.
So I signed up, and then it was like 2 months later. Then I got into the whole WhatsApp group and that kind of stuff. And then a dot into me was like, oh fuck, I think I might have underestimated what I signed up for.
I feel like most title holders say that. From what I've said, like, most people don't really realize the enormity of being a title holder. Like, you'll probably be involved in a lot more events now. Like, they'll ask you to come to things now.
Yeah. I've been invited to Folsom. I've been invited to Maspalama already, and there's tons of events in the Netherlands that I want to attend. So I think I want to attend someone in Ireland, because there was a jury member from Ireland.
Yeah.
Was in our jury, so I was like, hey, you should come to us. I was like, yeah, sure, probably, I'll put it on my agenda. And so but the thing is, one of the most wonderful memories of Darklands is, as I came off the stage and just completely bedazzled, like what the fuck was going on, because I just got the title.
Yeah,
I got approached by a lot of title holders congratulating me. They also give me advice like, hey, this is gonna happen, this is what's going on. Take your time. And it's a really lovely community to be in, and really it feels like a privilege.
Well, that's fantastic. And just because we haven't really said what your title is yet, so what is your actual title?
The official title is actually quite a little bit of a debate, but the official title that's on the sash at this moment is International Superhero Fetish 2023. But, and this is going to be a little bit of an exclusive, I'm also going to get a second sash, which is going to hold International Supervillain 2020 Fetish 2023, because part of my performance as well, because I have both a custom hero and a villain character. And they're both my own, and they're just different sides of my personality as well. I think, to expand it a little more, I think that goes with a lot of kinksters, that it really depends on their for a lot of kinksters there, they have like identities or personas that they partake, and that's also extension of their character in some sort of way. And for me, I have a switchy character, so I was really trying to kind of fit in that one character, and then it was like, hey, I'm just gonna make two separate characters, and then I can go really, really hard on the one end and the other end. So that's how it goes. And
I love that.
Yeah.
No, that is awesome. And like, what kind of got you into the kind of superhero / supervillain fetish?
It's always been interesting for me because I'm my history lies within the furry community, which is quite common. I think amongst gangsters as well. And then throughout that, I mean, just to reiterate, I mean, yes, I'm a furry, but it's all completely separated from the kinky stuff. Just to be completely clear. But in there, I just got exposed to the stuff, and then you browse on internet last night, and then I got porn materials and Twitter, and then stories, and I was like, hey, I kind of like this, so I want to hop in. I want in on the action, and I really like when I was really developing like I said, in the summer of 2021, I started out with the puppy community. I mean, I started with pup play, and then I really quickly developed like, hey, I want to make something unique. I want to make something my own. I want to have something, and then I just like, what? I'm just gonna create me a superhero character. That just sounds fun. And then
that's amazing.
Got the whole house starting.
No, that is absolutely amazing. Like, just how new you are to it, and then going from being new to being a title holder in such a short space of time. That must have been like quite an overwhelming sensation for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole Saturday evening, after I won the title, I think my most hated sentence, which is, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, I just, I really had just. I didn't know I just didn't know what was going on. I really didn't expect it, and because for me, as Darklands came closer, and I got a lot of the prep and all, you get scripts, and then you get to have meetings with that. You get meetings with that, and then the rehearsal was like, oh wait, this is a really, really serious thing, and then I just really felt like, hey, awesome! I got to be part of this. This is just a wonderful experience. It's really, really fun. I'm already just quite happy to be there, and then I won the whole bloody thing, and then and which is really, really exciting for me as well, because one of the what I really quite like with the whole superhero fetish as well, is that it's trying to be, I think, if you're taking kink and with scenes and it's always serious. It's always really, really serious and really intense. And the superhero, for me, it takes a little bit of the edge off. It's supposed to be a little bit fun. It's supposed to be a little bit funny, but kinky or whatever as well. And they really try to have that as in the contest as well. Like, I mean, you have the performances, you have the all the kind of stuff that you make to be ranked, but they try to wrap it up in a what I like to call kinky entertainment, and that's something I really, really liked. And part of being a title holder, so I'm also going to be crafting this show for next year. So I'm already, I think, one of the organizers already quite fed up with me, because in the week after was like, oh, we can do this. Oh, can we do this? We can do this. So, which is really, really fun, because I really love doing that kind of stuff. I really like crafting stories, telling them, acting them out. So it's something I found out as I prepared for my performance. I was like, hey, I actually really, really like doing this. So let's make a show out of it.
No, and I think that's the kind of energy that a title holder for superhero / supervillain should have, is that kind of imagination and creativity to create these stories, because I think that really captures the essence of the superhero supervillain kind of essence, is having the ability to really create these really engaging stories. Like, I know the creators of, for example, The Boys, he hated the idea of all of these mainstream superheroes, which were always goody two shoes and things like that. So he created one where the superheroes are assholes, basically. And just having that kind of creativity and how popular that's become, I just think it's fantastic. And I'd imagine you're going to be very creative and kind of go wild with it, and that's the kind of energy that I like to see.
Yeah, I mean, what's I think also just quite good to know, also for the listeners, is that it became very, very close to the it was very, very close for me personally to back out, actually, because when the reality kicked in, was like, oh fuck, I know this is what I signed up for. And at that time I was only had developed my superhero character, and I'd let the organizer look, hey, I'm voting on the supervillain character, etc, etc. And then we got the first meeting in, and I was like, oh fuck, oh Christ, what am I going to do? This is way out of my comfort zone. So I let the organizers know, and then credit to them, they have been lovely. As soon as I let the first instance know I was having doubts, I got messages from like all three of them, like, hey, do we need to help? Do you have questions? There's no need to worry, etc, etc, etc.
Lovely.
It was really, really lovely. And then I was chatting with one of the organizers, and then I was just in a conversation, was like, hey, by the way, I'm also developing my supervillain character, this and this. And then he just loved it, because he was like, all right, because what happens with a lot, which is not a fault at all, I can really understand the thought process behind it, is that it's either just a straight up copy of a current hero like Batman, Superman, etc., or it's like a little twist like Wonder Woman, Woman Man. Which is also fine, but the thing, like he said, was like, it's quite rare to have like a custom character coming in, but to have a custom supervillain character is like completely unique. And then I was like, I had no idea I could enter it as Scorch. It was like, oh yeah, you totally can, you should. And then he just had all of this creative energy, and then that it gave me the confidence of like, hey, if I can actually use that character. And then from there I was like, hey, if I can actually use my supervillain character, then I can craft a story from that. And then that basically gave me the confidence of like, hey, it gave me the idea of like, hey, now I got a story to develop, and I can tell the story. And then that just snowballed from there. And then I'm not sure if everybody understood the story I was telling, but lessons learned for next year.
Yeah, but that's a pretty amazing achievement in and of itself, that you managed to kind of impress everyone with your own creative abilities. I don't think many people, like, yeah, as you said, like, would go for just a play on of an existing superhero, but to really take an element and make it your own, that's something extra.
Well, thank you.
So what is something you know now about kind of the superhero, supervillain kind of fetish scene that you wish you knew when you were going into it?
Really, really excellent question. What I would have known, we would like to know, I think with just the straight up diversity. It's a really, really diverse scene, and it's really, really, there are really different, and really the strictness about the characters. So if you are cosplaying as Superman, they're really, really strict about the look and your costume and that kind of stuff. So that's something I really, really was interesting to know. And then as well, it's really it's diverse, but also really scattered around. So I would have, because I really tried, to get into contact with people from my local scene beforehand. It was really quite difficult. But then I finally got some context, because I'm a title holder, so that opens a lot of doors. And which is quite funny, actually. So afterwards, a lot of people came to me. It's like, hey, you're Dutchy. I actually quite like this. How do I get in on this stuff? So it's just I would have liked to have like someone like me just from the other side, like, hey, can I approach you for questions?
Well, I have a bit of a side project going on, which I will discuss with you after we've had our interview. Because if you want to help others and teach them about kind of the superhero, supervillain fetish, then I have the project for you. I mentioned it briefly in the last episode, which I'm cheating by recording these in advance. Which it's going to be it's called the DIP. And that stands for the Dax Institute of Pup Play. And it's basically just going to be a big kind of centralized hub of information on different fetishes, different kind of aspects of pup play. And it's just going to be a big educational resource for people to explore new fetishes and explore them safely. because as I was talking with Neutron in the last episode, he was talking about how he really enjoys hypnoplay, and people will try and copy it. And if you don't do hypno right, it can be kind of dangerous, because you can put someone into the wrong headspace, and that can mess with them. So it's going to be a centralized resource to kind of teach people the safer ways of doing things. So, and maybe let them learn something new.
Yeah, I mean, I should then actually contact Spock Neutron, because, hypnoplay is actually something I really want to get involved with. But it's actually quite funny, because one of the one of the things that like I said, we started out, my boyfriend and I, we both started our kink journey in the summer of 2021, and one of the things that really, really touched me in the beginning was like how open communicative and welcoming the community is to newcomers. If you approach basically almost everybody for questions, people would love to help you out, and all this kind of stuff. So I approached some people with questions, and then they answered me. Then they asked me some questions like, hey, where you coming from? What's your background? What's your story? And then they helped me in their way in my kink journey. And that's something I really, really appreciated it. And as I've, advanced in my own kink journey, and then I really try to get to know a lot of people, then I know that there's a lot of people who are in my shoes, who are just watching me from the sideline, who are watching the kink world from the sidelines, don't really, really get anxious to go to events, or just, watching stuff on Twitter like, I really want to do this, but I have no idea how. So that was the original reason for me. It's like, hey, I really want to help other people, because that's something, I want to pay the favor forward to other people. And then it was like, hey, let's just make a recognizable icon. Let's just make a superhero with a own character, but with a twist. So the logo is a pop hood. It's based on a pop hood. Yep. So people recognize me. So people just, and then based on that, make a brand like, hey, I'm approachable. You can always ask me for questions. To have a little bit of a safe space for people to approach me via digitally or at events like, hey, I know that guy maybe from Twitter or someone else, that I can approach him for questions and he can help me further. So that was the whole idea with being the superhero character in advance. So this is something similar. And then it has developed further with, I've now this supervillain character, which is more based around dominant play, which is, not quite surprising. And then I also try to be educated on that aspect, because I see a lot of young people and young subby-minded people go explore the scene and enter scenes that are not, I think, really not prepared for, or without proper regards for the safety, without, really checking like, hey, does this dominant person, have my safety in advance? I mean, do we talk about safe word? Do we talk about safety? Do we talk about, boundaries and all that kind of stuff? And I've had quite a lot of people who talk to me, and then I warned them, and then they came to me. It's like, yeah, I actually got a bad experience like XYZ, because, I was tied up and he was doing a thing that I really didn't like. But I didn't want to cancel the scene. It was like, giant red flag. That should never, ever happen. Don't ever interact with a dominant again.
Yeah, this is actually quite spooky, because I interviewed Neutron yesterday, and you're both saying very similar things about getting the right information for newcomers, because that was one thing that he brought up and was very, very vocal about, was people having bad experiences with bad DOMs, basically, where they're led astray, they're maybe fed the wrong information, so they're taught wrong, and they believe that things that aren't right are kind of normal. And he was talking about that especially in the aspect of alphas and handlers, where it becomes less of an alpha beta or a dominant sub situation and just abuse, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, credits to Neutron. He's been into the scene just a lot more, and he's quite a lot more knowledge as well. But I think what I'm trying to be is that I'm I mean, and I can use this sentence for not very much longer, but I'm trying to be recognizable for new kinks as well by saying like, hey, I'm quite new to this stuff as well. I'm trying to be really, really open about, especially with sub stuff and dumb stuff, like, hey, I'm new to this, I'm still learning, I'm trying new things, I want to explore this, so that people are like recognized, especially new people, like, hey, I'm also going through this thought process, because it's not really talked about quite that often about how being a dominant or a sub is a skill you need to develop. It's something you need to do over and over and over.
Absolutely.
Before you can actually do the stuff that you see in Twitter. I think social media is not really. I've talked quite often with people like, oh, I want to do that stuff on social media, and oh, I want to do this, and I can talk to a guy who's like that said he would do this, and I was like, yeah. And then I just explained to them, so like, yeah, that's the effect of social media. Those kind of scenes, as I talked with people, then I, interact with people who actually are in those scenes that you see on Twitter, that everybody's like, oh my god, I want in on that shit. And then Tim was like, yeah, I mean, I maybe even do that like 3 times a year. And then with people I've known for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And then I explained that to the new people. It's like, hey, this is not something you do in 1 night or in 2 sessions or 3 sessions.
No, exactly.
This is kink is a relationship you need to build with. You need to build that over and over and over before you get to the, hey, I'm gonna take you on a kinky kidnapping for a weekend and then keep you tied up for like 48 hours, which is a sploosh for quite a ton of people. But
but no, you're 100% right there. I think people think that you can instantly just be like, oh, okay, well, I want to be dom. I'm just gonna just start dominating someone. It's a mindset that you have to kind of train yourself for.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I mean, I'm a switch by nature. So, and I think for me, the thing with diving a little bit on my personal life here, with the relationship between me and my boyfriend, he is a straight up natural 100% sub. So I always had, to be the dominant relationship, or in the bedroom, not in the relationship, but in the bedroom and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So as I explored the kink scene, it was like, hey, I can finally have my sub side, scratched, that itch. Which is really quite fun. And then, but as things develop, I really wanted to have that dom experience as well. And then, but I was really quite nervous. It's a mindset, and it's some sort of confidence you have to radiate. But it was like internal, it was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. How does this work as well? And then from that, I think uncertainty and doubt was like, hey, I'm just gonna fake it till you make it. Let's make a character that just radiates dominant energy, that it can really get in a mindset of. So it's basically make a character that's just for me, a character that's really close to me, that just is dominant 100%. And then from that idea, I just started working with an artist to have a look that's just basically from top to bottom radiates dominant, intimidating energy, and just and then created, he made the artwork, he made the reference sheet, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to create this in real life. That took 4 months, and then which was quite funny is that I had a photo shoot with friends in a professional studio. That was the first time I was walking around in the clothes, and I was really quite nervous, and I was like, yeah, is this quite nervous and really, really shy. And then, I had to fake it for the camera. And then like a week later, then I was seeing the pictures, was like, oh fuck, that's just me. And
I love that.
And then that just gave me the confidence, like, oh fuck, that's how I look. Holy shit, this looks awesome. And then from there, I just with experience and doing it more and more often. Darklands was just it was the very first time I was actually going to be walking around in that character publicly. I did that. I chose that on purpose. I could have done it earlier, but it's like, I'm gonna tease Darklands. It's the first appearance. It was quite nice, fitting for the story. And then when I was walking around the very first day on first day night, just the reaction on people, and I was like, oh, right, this is working. It's really, really nice. And that's that gave me the confidence that I needed to probably say, yes, I'm also a dominant person. I'm still new to this, but hey, I'm also a dominant, and then have that confidence like some people want, like that I can approach someone and then get them on their knees and then put a collar on them, take them on the leash, take them somewhere into a very dark space and have some fun, and
Oh, that is good though. I love to hear kind of people's experiences where I definitely feel at Darklands you can definitely be yourself and open yourself up to these new experiences. And I always feel every time I go to Darklands, I feel like I can really be myself and just be confident and just not have to worry about like, oh my God, am I in the right headspace? Because the moment I'm there, it's just straight into the headspace.
Yeah, I mean, it was our very first Darklands, and it was just an amazing experience. The only downside I had was like we had the party on Friday night, which was awesome. It was, we also had Alpha Madness tickets, so we wanted to explore the VIP neck, which doesn't open till 12. But I also had to be there at 9 a.m. for rehearsals.
Oh God.
Yeah. So it was like 7 a.m. It was like both was like, let me sleep. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go all alone to the breakfast buffet. Like nobody was there. I was one of the very first eating my breakfast, and then on those steps go to the Darklands at like 9:15, and it was like, oh my God, just kill me.
I don't blame you, honestly. So what does your title mean for you? It's a very open question.
It's a very what it does mean for me is that is the validation that what I'm doing and what I'm trying to accomplish, it's working for people. Is that because for me, the characters, both Blaze and Scorch, they've been a creative outlet for me. They've, where I can put out my creativity, craft stories, craft scenes, and try to evoke emotions. It's maybe art. I mean, that's the whole different philosophical question as well. And it's something I really like doing. So I really try to keep developing the characters. I mean, Scorch, as you might maybe know with the pop hood, he's already has a new look. The pop hood is gone. He has a totally new look. And in that evolution of characters, it's also in that way I also capture my own personal development as in the kink world. And with that, I try to try to make that public, to show that to people, to new people, old people, like, hey, this is just how it goes. This is how I learn. This is how I approach stuff, and it's something I've been doing for the past 1.5 years. And for me, the title means like, hey, what I'm doing works. It shows that a lot of people appreciate it, and it gives me the platform to it gives me a larger platform for the stuff I talked about before about safety and all that kind of hazards and the approachable icon and that kind of stuff.
No, that is fantastic, and I think that's an absolutely fantastic answer. Just having the ability to express your creativity and have that creativity validated, I think I think you've hit the nail on the head there.
Well, thank you.
So do people outside of the fetish community know about your title? Like, have you told friends and family, or is it something that only people that are in these kind of fetish scenes know about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really. It's been quite a roller coaster ride on like speed 10. I mean, we've gone from like, hey, what is a poop hood, to 1.5 years. I mean, our whole closet is fully loaded with gear. We've got pictures and all that kind of stuff. And it's not really an easy topic to discuss with our parents on both sides. So they don't know about it. I think my parents have my mother has a suspicion, but she's very like I don't want to know.
Oh, fair.
Like, I don't want to know. I have no interest in knowing this about my own son, so.
Fair. My parents have seen me in latex. They've seen me with my pup hood on, and when the puppy walk happened this year, I ended up being on Antwerp news. Like you can just see Dax walking past. Yeah, one of the title holders was getting interviewed, and you just see me walking past, and I'm just like, hey, also, like, I took a screenshot of like the news video and sent it to my family, and I was like, look, I made it onto the news, and none of them reacted. None of them. They're all just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've been discussing this with my boyfriend actually quite recently, that I actually want to open up to my parents as well. I actually want to open up to my parents because I think the whole shock is, I think the uncertainty is like, oh my God, King scene, and, all the misconceptions and all that kind of stuff. I mean, when you take that shock away, I think my parents are actually going to be really, really appreciative, because that whole creative spark comes from her. So I think if I show her all of that I've done and all that I've created, I think she's going to say, oh my God, this is awesome. How can I help? Because, all right, funny personal story. My mother actually called me on Sunday because as she's a boomer. That means she doesn't know how to handle technology. And I'm the IT expert within the family. So that means she called me, it's like, I don't know how to do this from an Excel file to an email. Please help me. So I was like, you're actually quite lucky. I'm being here. I have my laptop in front of me. I can do this right away. And she was asking like, hey, where are you actually right now? Because it sounds quite busy. And I was at the festival grounds. I was like, yeah, how do I approach this?
Oh, no.
It was like, yeah, we are at the festival. What kind of festival? Like music? It was like, no, not really. It's about cosplay. We're like, oh my God, I've heard about it. That's really, really fun. Do you have your own cosplay? Because if you want, I can help. It's like, yeah, sort of. I'm part of the organization. And then, and then she was like, oh my God, that's really, really fun. You should tell me all about it when you get home. And then we moved on. So I think if she gets past the whole kinky aspect, I think she would just be on board and be a supporter. It's like, hey, I need to craft this and this. It was like, all right, let's do this.
No, I love that.
Yeah. So that's why I want to say, but my boyfriend is, he's still a bit scared because, it's still quite a bombshell for parents. Are like, hey, we are in this world. Yes, there are quite a lot of dangers, but it's brought us tons of stuff, tons of new friends. And yes, we are open, but that doesn't mean we have a bad relationship.
No, absolutely not. I personally prefer open relationships because, and this is where I get judged, I feel like having one person for absolutely everything, everyone has their own tastes. There's going to be things that I want to do that my partner can't or doesn't want to do. So I think having that relationship where it's like, okay, things are strictly romantic for you and me, but I can get my sexual needs or my extra sexual needs helped with by someone else, because you don't like this fetish but I do, and I kind of want to explore that more. So personally, open relationships are a-okay in my book. And I would prefer that. And like I've had to turn down dates, or had dates turn me down is more accurate, because when they're asking like, oh, what kind of relationship you look for, I'm like, well, kind of open. They're like, nope. I'm like, all right, okay, bye.
Yeah, I mean, my boyfriend and I started closed. I mean,
yeah,
he was my very first in everything, so we didn't have quite a lot of experience. And then as we always had the fantasies like, hey, want to have more people, like ha fantasies and that kind of stuff. And then when I accidentally outed myself to liking pop play. And then we quickly, as we got to know people and see, what kind of relationships there are, we quite, started to talk like, hey, this is a way for us. We always had those fantasies. How serious are we about these fantasies? And then we came across the same thing as you. It's like, hey, we don't match 100%. How do you approach this? And then from there we started. I mean, we're not 100% open. It's not like I can have a date tomorrow night and then just have fun. It's still, we're not there at that point. But we are slowly taking it step by step to getting there, from being close to getting more open, because we realized as well with experience and a lot of talking, which is the most important thing in any type of relation, especially kink related, is like he has needs, I have needs, we don't really match. One thing I really want if I'm playing with someone is I want activity, I want response. He's a very, very passive person, so that just doesn't match at all. And then for me, as I see it, is like he's my main partner. I'm gonna love that guy. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. I'm not sure. Pretty sure he does. He's not gonna listen to the podcast because I'm gonna actually propose to him quite soon.
Hey, wow, big reveal.
Yeah. And as we discussed, like the same. We can have our itches or needs met by different people, and then as we learn people, we've built tons of good relationships. With people, friend relationships, and as I personally see it with other people of built relationships, like I have a lot of love to give.
Yeah.
My first priority of love goes to my boyfriend, but I have more. I have more love to give than just one person, and I would love to give it to other person. It doesn't have to be romantic, but I love to be there for other people. Give them, even if they're single, like if they're here for the weekend, make them feel loved, appreciated for who they are, what they are, and for every fault that they think they have. Have that loving embrace, even if it's just a weekend. Like, hey, this weekend, I'm making you feel loved in every sense, and it's something I really like doing. And then, my boyfriend really happily goes along with it, and he has the same with other people, and that's. Yeah. But in that for us, it really, really works, and it has made our relationships so much more stronger.
I know, I absolutely love that. That is amazing. I actually need to do a quick shout out to Pupbite and his partner to say a massive congratulations. They got engaged very recently. It's been a long time coming. So a massive congratulations. I'm very happy for them. I'm hoping I get invited to the wedding.
It's a very stupid way of asking.
Oh, I know. It's just, I get very excited. I don't get to go to enough weddings, probably because I'm a chaotic bundle of energy. But I'm very happy for them. And honestly, like, congratulations to you for when you do pop the big question.
Yeah. Just in case he does listen, I'm not gonna pop the date just yet, but
Yeah, no, don't tell me that much. Just knowing that it's gonna happen. I love that. Once it does happen, obviously let me know, and we will do another shout out on the podcast. To congratulate you.
I'll shout it out from every fucking rooftop I have, digitally or otherwise.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So just kind of getting to know a little bit more about you. Your colors, are they based on the hanky code, or are they just your favorite color?
Quite funny story, actually. I picked my original name Blaze because as I was like, hey, we're gonna do this, hey, we should have puppy names, and then I just went to a website like puppy names, and then just scrolled through a list, and then Blaze was the very first. Was like, I'll just fuck it, let's go. Looking behind, maybe I would have spent more thoughts about it, but that people already know me with that name, and then changing name is just too much hassle. And then as we went to Underquart Amsterdam, which is the go-to store basically for pop gear in the Netherlands, and then which is also quite funny. The very first time we got there, I was really quite nervous. I actually didn't, wanted to go in and was quite, anxious and scared. And then my boss was like, fuck it, we're gonna go in. We've gone all this way, just go. And then, so we got downstairs, and then we got helped by the lovely staff people who were just, loved them all. And then I just walked through, and they had all the colors available, and just, was looking at them, was like, red. That's it. And then I just picked the red basic hood, and then from there, I think a couple of months later, I started to work on a custom hood, which is red, white, and blue. Red was the main color. White is the secondary color, and I think blue is the tertiary color. That's only the tip of the nose and the inside of the ear.
Oh, I like that.
And it's just, I was just smashing colors. I mean, I've spent like a week just smashing colors, everything, and this was like, yep, this speaks to me. I like this. And then based from those colors, from that pop art, I developed Blaze. And then from there, and then as I was developing my Scorch, from the very first get-go, I wanted him to be unique, but also recognizable. Like, that people would recognize that he's a twisted, alter ego, corrupted version as well. So I wanted to have some resemblance of it. So I picked the same colors, but twisted them around a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's still red, he's red, blue, and red, blue, and black instead of white.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So that's actually that's quite. That's the story. And then afterwards, the people were like, "Hey, hanky coat," and I was like, "What the fuck is the hanky coat?" And then I discovered what the red actually means. I was like, "Oh no, no."
Yeah, I always love asking people about the hanky code, because some people either they base their colors on it or they had no idea and it just was their favorite color. I think because I was certainly in the latter category, where orange has been my favorite color for years and years. And when I was choosing my latex, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for orange. And because I was getting mine made to measure, and was choosing my colors and that, the guy was like, you know what orange means, right? And I was like, what do you mean? It's just a fucking color. And he was like, no, the hanky code. And I was like, a hanky code? I was like, do you need to blow your nose? Like, what the hell are you on about? And he was like, no, look at this. So he then showed me like this chart, and he was like, orange means anything anywhere. He was like, are you quite open with your kinks in that? And I was like, well, yeah, I'll try pretty much anything. I don't really have many things that I won't do. There's very, very few things that I'm not into. And he was like, oh, then it fits perfectly. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? And he's just like, honestly, don't worry about it. And I was like, what do you mean don't worry about it? Now I'm worrying more. So yeah, it was just one of those, like, I was like, all right, okay. But yeah, it fits, and I've just kind of went with that. There is some color combinations that I really like. I am planning on trying to get my own custom hood made. We'll see how that goes.
Do you know the website where you can make one in advance?
Yeah, I saw the one where you can kind of design with the custom colors in that, and then you can kind of take it and give it to some of these companies, and they'll design it based on the pattern that you've generated.
Yeah. I mean, it's shout out to k9hood.com.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I use that to develop Blaze and Scorch from the pop-ups as well, and then just go from there. Awesome website. So if you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah, and like just off the back of that, do you have any kind of brand recommendations?
I think specifically for superhero stuff, I think the website Heroes Time, which is a Chinese website, they're really, really good, great company to work with. I mean, it's not really easy to have the custom characters out of the way to create it in spandex suits. I mean, spandex is obviously a big part of it. I mean, love spandex. It's really, really awesome. It's just as tight as rubber, but way more easier to get on. Yep. And they're a really awesome company to work with if you have like standard stuff, or just you approach them for questions, quick turnaround times, and that as well. And so I use them to print, the custom. The custom prints and the suits as well with them. Yep. So I just sent the reference sheets. Like, hey, can you turn this into a suit? It's like, all right, wait 4 weeks. Then they sent to me. And then when I got the Scorch suits for the first time, I put them on and I immediately whipped out of them, which is quite sad. And then I just contacted them. I was like, we're just gonna send you new ones and a 20%, and here's $20 back because you have to pay the import fees back. It was like, thank you.
That's really good, actually.
You can actually hold the $20. I'm already happy that you're sending new suits. I'll pay the $15 fee as well. And so it's really, really awesome company to work with. And then also shout out to, and I've quite feel awful about the fact that I forgot the name, but I should be. I'm hoping that my Twitter account is being quickly so that I can look up the thingy. Oh no. Actually curator of my custom letter. Because I have, the letter that I have on me is custom made by someone. Yeah, which is come on. It's custom made by someone from Amsterdam, and which is Act Goods. You should just look it up on Twitter. And then he's the guy that I just basically sent on a reference sheet to. It was like, hey, can you make this in letter? And it was like, I have no idea, but he just loved the project because it was so unique. And I talked with them, discussed the whole idea, and then in 1.5 months he just went like, you know what? Fuck it, let's go for it. And then he made the colors, the bicep bands, and everything. It just lovely work, quality work, lovely to work with. And for me, I think it's one of the major reasons why the character works as well, having that custom letter work that fits with the character instead of the normal one, which is, I think, really important to say. And I think it's a lesson that should be shouted, I think, almost weekly, especially on Twitter, that gear doesn't make the Kingster. It's just, even if you have basic gear, you can still look good. It doesn't really matter. But for me, having that character, I wanted it. But don't take this as like you need custom shit to have like a good character.
No, absolutely.
No, just make whatever you think just looks good, and then just make or wear things that you think looks good, and then just take that confidence and then walk around with it, because that's how people find you attractive. Walk around in the gear and feeling that confidence, like, hey, no matter how big or how small I am, large sides, small sides, I love myself, I have the confidence in myself. That's what gets me.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there a kind of particular role model that you kind of look up to, or anyone in particular in the kind of the superhero supervillain scene that you consider like a really close friend that kind of inspired you to go down the route that got you your title?
I mean, before I entered the contest, I really didn't have any contacts with them. But I think a really big shout out to Antonio, who's part of the organizers. He's been really, really helpful in the preparations with them, dealing with my confidence issues and that stuff. And he's really been a pleasure to work with, especially after my title. Like, hey, how can I do this? How can I approach this as well? And then, but I don't really have, people to look up with. As is like, hey, I want to do this, because I'm just, in the end of the day, I'm just doing because I'm doing this because I find it fun, and I'm doing it because in the end, I just view it as a hobby, and so I'm doing just what it's fun. And then from that perspective, contacting people like, hey, we can do this. Oh my god, this sounds fun. I mean, obviously, contacting people, because they have gear and stuff. I mean, I'm gonna have fun in the bedroom. I mean, that's without a doubt. But building those relationships, and then as I learn more and more people, I get more inspiration, and then other people I get invited to stuff that I didn't even know existed before, and then it just steamrolls from there. And then I just take it all in, put it in my big backpack of all experience, and then just pull out whenever I find something interesting. Like, hey, I can do this, and we can do this, and I know that person, and let's do this.
Yeah. So no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about your life as kind of a deviant, as it were, because I feel like you fall more into the deviant role with your kind of title. So you said you started kind of the summer of 2021. What kind of fetishes did you initially explore then, and kind of what are you now trying, or what things have you kind of established that are your kind of go-to fetishes?
Well, like I said, I think my boyfriend and I started off with puppy play because I accidentally came out of the king closet saying to him like, "Hey, I like puppy play," which is a funny story, but I think goes a little bit too off topic for now. But so it started with puppy play, and I think it's quite a popular kink, and which going in popularity, and I can really understand why, because it's such a low bar of entry, and it doesn't really have those intimidation or anything like with latex or leather, that kind of stuff. So that's how we started. So our very first event was just a social from a Dutch puppy play social, and then from there we just got to know people, and then latex was quite soon on the next level, and then drones came from there, and then from there it became drones, became stuff. I mean, rubber is just lovely. I mean, also for gas max and rubber as well. Didn't have a chance to wear it. And then I mean, superhero got the same as well. And then one of the things I'm trying to explore more is, I mean, hypnoplay, like I said in early beginnings, and which is really quite funny story. I never really envisioned myself as a leather person, and then from out of the fucking nowhere, my boyfriend said to me at breakfast. And we were going to a fetish social on the Saturday, and then we decided, hey, on the Sunday, let's do Christmas shopping. Not king shopping, Christmas shopping. And then, so at the breakfast at the hotel, out of fucking nowhere, he said, "You know what? I envision you as a leather daddy." It was like, where did this come from? It was like, I don't know, just a random thought. It was like, you know, your brain is weird. And then, which is actually quite funny. And then later, when we were just shopping for clothes, and then there was like a leather jacket, and he was looking at me. He's like, "You should try this." I was like, all right.
That's how it starts.
Yeah, and I tried it on and looked at myself in the mirror. Was like, fuck, this is just, I really like this. This is quite fun. So I got my own leather shorts as well. I really got lucky and bought something at the secondhand market as well, which is I think a red leather jacket, which really worked fun. And I completely forgot. This is completely new, which I'm exploring, is MX gear, which I didn't even know it was a thing until like I started in the kink scene, and I was like, why is this a thing? Just like not judging, but just curiosity. Like, why is this a thing? And then like 2 weeks ago in the weekend, I was with friends. We got invited, we were first meeting, and then stuff. And they had MX gear. I was like, you can try this. Like, all right, let's do this. And then as I put it on, I just got that feeling in my body. It was like, oh no,
it's comfortable. It's so comfortable.
It's comfortable, and I like this way too much because it's getting I'm feeling a bump in my pants, and the other person was like, "Hey, I'm feeling a bump in your pants. You like this, don't you?" I was like, "Yes."
Oh, honestly,
my wallet.
Like, yeah, that's the problem. It's like, so I got my first leather jacket last January, February time, and it was my Star Trek leather jacket, and I loved the look. And last Artlands, when they had the secondhand market, I was like, okay, I'm going to look at some leather trousers, just try and get like a little bit of a leather look going on. And I got a really nice pair. And from there, I ended up getting like a leather shirt and just completing the look. And then this year I was like, do you know what? I'm going to try the leather puppy look. And I have never felt so confident and masculine at the same time. And it was honestly, so I fully understand the whole leather daddy thing, because leather just makes you feel so powerful.
I really, really quite like it. It's something I really want to. It's just one of those things that I really want to go for it, but it's just time and money. And what you can just only spend money only once. So I recently spent way too much money on something for Scorch, because one of the things, which is a personal thing, I think, and it's also a little bit, I tried to say that, and I got a little bit of trouble with it after Darklands, was Scorch had a puppy hood, which is a red puppy hood, but he's not a playful, who's a good boy kind of type. I mean, he's a dominant kind of vibe, but I didn't want to, but he had to have some sort of mask, so that's why we resorted to a puppy hood.
Yeah.
And then, but a lot of people was like, oh my god, it's a puppy, ha 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 ha, who's a good boy? which is just, completely goes against, what I was trying to capture and what I really wanted.
Yeah.
So, which also raises the questions like, hey, don't assume every puppy is you can give it pets and can you go playful, which is some people try to do with me, and then I just babbed them away and just yeeted the hand and was like, hey, you're a puppy, you should like this. Or like, no, that's not how this works. And I had my whip or something else and then just whacked them and then, playfully told them to, back away. But it's still quite something, a problem. And then, and this was like 1 week after a new hood arrived at my doorstep. Ooh. Which has been quite expensive. I'm just dropping it in the podcast materials channel so you can see it. You can see the new hood.
Yeah, that doesn't give off a friendly puppy vibe.
No, not at all. I mean, I was really doubting myself. I was really, do I really want to go for this? Because I was talking this, as with my creative process, I talk with my friends a lot about why I want to do the things as well. And then their reactions, give me the energy and the input I need to go further. And then a lot of people were going just like, do you really want to go for this? It's quite extreme. It's really quite intimidating. And I was listening to that, was like, yes,
that's the
you're
point.
Right. That's the exact fucking point. I want people to be intimidated. I want that. But as you can, this is it's a snapjaw hood from America, and awesome people to work with. There were, I think, like 2 creators. I think they have a little bit more staff now. But Team Poopy who started with them, and handcrafted as well. But you could probably imagine these are not cheap.
No, absolutely not. But it is an incredible look, I have to say.
Yeah, and the thing that I really want to capture on camera, but it doesn't really work, it's also glow in the dark.
Oh my god, I love that. It's little shit like that I absolutely fucking love. Like, it's very clear and abundant to me that you have put a lot of time, effort, and money into creating this supervillain character, and I just love it. And it is clearly, like, just from talking to you and just seeing the kind of final image of it, how much love and dedication you've put into this, and it's absolutely incredible. Like, I didn't really know about the superhero fetish scene, and you've definitely opened my eyes to it.
Well, thank you. That's really good to hear. And then it's working. But it's just been an absolute pleasure for Mel. And the thing is that the more energy I put into this, into the character and into the kink as well, the more I develop myself as a person, the more I discover about myself, the more I learn, and then use that knowledge and energy to give back to the community in that sense. So it's sort of in a circle. And then but also quite to say that I'm not done yet. This is let's just say that what you're going to see here is not going to be the same as you're going to see next year at Darklands. So yeah, I mean, the thing with this is that every classic villain, if you see it in comics or in animated series as well, they have that shiny look and stuff as well. I mean, and it doesn't really come across in spandex. So I may or may not already ordered a custom latex suit with that exact look.
Ooh.
So I can just completely walk around in completely shiny latex from top to bottom.
Well, I will hold you to that because I am very excited to see this look in person.
Well, I'm gonna be at Folsom at Maspalamas for sure if you talk about international events. So and of course Darklands 2024. I mean, I think I already have a ticket for it. So I mean, I have no reason not to attend.
Oh yeah, because you get invited back automatically, don't you? As a title holder.
I got an Alpha Madness pass.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, the prize package. I mean, he told me. They told on the stage, Whipper, awesome person by the way, just lovely to work with. And they told me on stage, like what I was getting all, and he was talking for like quite a few minutes. Was like, oh my god, and this and this and this, and then the day after was like, oh yeah, you get this, and you get this, and you get this, and you get this. So like, oh my god.
Jeez.
I mean, I get a. Do you know the We Are One Foundation?
Yes.
Like, did you get the? I mean, you got an email like, "Hey, we raised like 13,000 euros."
Yeah, I saw that.
I get a share of that as a title holder.
What?
Yes.
Jeez, so you can really put it into your character.
Yeah, I mean, it's meant to be, and I really like the idea of it. It's really meant for us title holders to, it gets expensive real quick, and it's a way to support title holders. And I think I get a small portion of it, and a Euro people puppy handler and puppy get a larger share, which they should. I mean, it's a way bigger title, and it's just help travel and cost expense, so you can just access more and be more as well, because as I said earlier, use that platform that you get for the year, to be as much as of a promoter of the whole scene and in general. So that's the whole idea behind the ER1 Foundation, but I didn't know that in advance. So he was standing there, was like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, that is amazing though.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's really comes about it. It's just an awesome privilege to be part of this. It's
No, absolutely. And like outside of the kind of fetish side, we can talk a little bit about your personal life if you'd like.
Oh yeah, no worries.
So what sort of thing do you do for work? You don't need to like say the exact thing or, talk about the company you work for, but like just what kind of lines do you do?
I'm still a student part-time.
Okay.
My master's, but I'm also working besides that, and I'm basically combining my studies with my work. And what I'm doing is I'm a policy officer in education. And what I'm actually, for the past 10 years, I've either had personal experience doing it myself, or working with them on student representation on an educational level, on organizational level, or on a national level, like representing students, making the voices heard on a political level, and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I've been doing for the past 10 years. And basically my job entails, and I do that 30 hours a week, is just basically I coach and poke the students and support the students like, hey, we want this and this change, or we don't really like this. And I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to take your opinion, and I'm going to walk to the door from the policy officer who's responsible for that, and I'm going to take your opinions, lay it on a desk, and say, hey, you need to fix this. And so we really empower young students who have no idea about how all of that works, who are like a big organization for like 1,500 employees work. It's like, that's not your problem, that's my problem to deal with. You just tell me what you want change, and I'll make sure it gets done.
Oh, that's incredible. And like, what is it you're studying?
Public administration as well. So it's a big part of my and my master thesis is really going to be about the participation of about younger people, but also lower educated people. So people who are like more distance to who feel more distance to politics and really don't feel empowered to like make their voices heard, or really. It's not really been empowered, but they don't really know how it works. So try to give them the confidence, like, hey, I can make changes, which it can be quite small or quite large, and make sure that they're heard, and make sure that they feel taken seriously. Because I think that boils down to quite a lot of things in life that people want to take. They want to be taken seriously. That if they tell you something about their honesty from their valid opinions, that you hear them saying, yes, I take you seriously, and I'm going to work with that.
Yeah,
and that boils down to what I do. Make sure that the students are like, hey, I'm being taken seriously. We don't always get what we want, because it doesn't work that way, or there's not the budget for it. But at least like, hey, we are being taken seriously. And then the board of directors, they have a valid response. We have a meeting with them, and then in half an hour we discuss it, and then the conclusion is it doesn't work, but we at least had a discussion about this.
Yeah, at least you have picked it up, acknowledged it, and tried to do something about it. And just some things aren't feasible. No, that sounds like incredible work. And what do you do when you're kind of not at work or university then?
Basically, what I really like to do, I'm playing a lot of video games.
Very nice.
I really like relaxing with single player story driven games. So I just finished up with the Horizon game series on the PlayStation is just lovely. My jam. I really love that series. I actually got the most deluxe edition with like the big elephant statue as well. I really love that. As I'm recording over 2 weeks, the new DLC is dropping, and you're damn sure the moment it's dropping, I'm playing that game. I'm playing 100%,
that game. Yeah. So I love that series. My cat is called Aloy for the reason that I just love it so much.
It's really good, and it really fits with my quite a lot of people, they play multiplayer games, and then for me it's like, why am I playing multiplayer games? Because I really don't want to spend I don't really have the time to spend 40 hours a week honing my skills to win most of the games. So I'm just gonna lose most of the games, and I'm just gonna at that point I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this for my own enjoyment, and then so I take it with my own pace, and it also works with my ASD brain, because I also have autistic spectrum disorder, which it's not really something visible from the outside, but I kind of want to say it. For people who maybe hear this, like, hey, I have that too, and hey, he did all this stuff, so maybe I can do it too. So
I was speaking to Neutron about this yesterday, and he said that from what he's seen, a lot of people into pup play are neurodivergent. So you're just backing that point up.
It's not really. It's not really that surprising for me, because a lot of neurodivergent people. It's the same like in the furry community. Quite a lot of people in that scene as well are neurodivergent. Why? Because they're, they don't really have the social skills, so they spend a lot of time on the internet. And then, if you spend a lot of time on the internet, you're gonna meet up furries in one way or another, and then people find like-minded people. It's just how it goes.
Exactly, and that's just the thing of it. And I've been asking every guest this, do you know your personality type?
I've taken quite a lot of personality type tests throughout the year, but every time it's different. And there's not really one personality type. It really, you have how many fucking...
There's 16 types.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You mean that one. I have no idea, because it's really one of the things I really didn't. I really didn't. Describe myself as a social person, and then or like a social charismatic person, and then my boyfriend really didn't describe that for I always said, I'm not really that social. And then my boyfriend, just after half a year being in the kinks, he's just like, you should stop saying that. Like, why? Don't you know how easy you approach people, and then you just walk up to people and have a conversation for 30 minutes? It's like, I kind of do that, but I just, ask questions, and then I respond, and then I just say something back, and then it just happens. Do you know how many people struggle with that? It's yes, I'm kind of good at this shit. Yeah,
there's no way you're an introvert. I'll tell you that much. You've got a lot of confidence,
I am an introvert by nature, because a lot of people think you are social, you're an introvert, or you're an extrovert. I am actually not. I really need that. I'm really social. I love being at events, and I love Darklands, but I also really needed those quiet hours. So,
the recharge time.
I love my boyfriend. He is one of the very rare people where I can be in the same room as me, and then I recharge my social battery.
Yeah, which is really good to have that.
Yeah. But no, I'm actually not an introvert by nature. I love the events and I love going there, but at the end of the day, I'm just exhausted. I'm dead, and then I'm just every time I go to a bar and play or every different event, I'm just dead. I'm done, and then my boyfriend and I can just go no filter. So when we're yelling almost insult at each other, but it's just laughing and care. So we it's been quite funny. Then we are walking to the station with people, and then we talk, and all people are like, are you fighting? It's like, no, we're just talking with like hashtag no filter, so we can just be very direct, very clear what we want, what we don't want, and then just put on our headphones and then just don't talk for like 2.5 hours. Just bliss.
Yeah. Though that is really good though.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's time we played a little bit of Dax's Dice.
Oh no.
Yeah, oh no. Okay, so you know the rules. 3 rolls. You can skip on 1 roll, but you only get 1 to skip. So choose wisely if you want to skip, that is.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's give it a roll. So first roll is a 6. Okay. What assumption do people make about you as, it says a pup, but as a title holder?
Oh.
Because I know people assume that you're an approachable pup, but we know you're not.
Well, I'm trying to be approachable. I think as soon as you have a title, and I've talked to quite a lot of people who have like a big following on Twitter and that kind of stuff, and then there's like some reason, and I think the same was like, I forgot his name from like What's the Safe Word. It's like people are like somehow afraid to talk to you, and then there's like, oh, they're busy, and then they're just gonna say, oh, you're busy, or you don't really like talking to people, or you don't really have something to say, which is not true at all. I love meeting new people, and in the end of the day, I'm just a guy with kink gear. You are a guy. You are the same. We can, be friends. It's something really. I try to be as vocal as I can. Like, hey, approach me, talk to me. But it's people still assume. It's not really. There's one assumption that a lot of people have with me. It's like your agenda must be really, really busy, and I can tell you with complete confidence that part is true. My agenda is stacked. Seriously, I had a friend that's like, hey, when can we meet up? I was like, yeah, I got a slot open. I got 1 slot open in the month of July. It's like nothing earlier. Like, nope, nothing earlier. I was like, how? Just stuff.
Yeah.
Go that.
Title holder things. That's all you need to say is just title holder things. Everyone goes, yep.
Yeah. And that's also the thing which all the title holders said. Just like your schedule, you're gonna be killed. Make an agenda, pick what you want, and just go with it. It's quite a lot of fun, which it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay. Second roll, you got 17. Oh, how would you define yourself from dom top to sub bottom? I feel like we've covered this one already.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of want to say reroll because I already said it. I'm a switch.
Yeah, we did discuss that earlier. Okay,
yeah.
We'll reroll that one then.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a nat 1. What is your best pickup line?
Oh God, no! Oh God, this is an awful nat 1. Oh God!
I think that's why I made this one the nat 1 for a critical fail. Because it is one of these awkward questions.
At the same time. Oh God, best pickup line. You choose as Blaze or as Scorch, as the superhero or the supervillain.
Ooh, see, I kind of want to hear both.
All right. Let me see if I'm gonna be Blaze and I do just a pickup line. God, I hate this. For me, talking about, hey, I'm social and I can approach people, they're just doing a pickup line out of nowhere. God. This is just gonna be so corny, but this is the first thing I could social. It's oh no, God, no! It's too awful. I can just you're putting me on the spot here.
That's why it's a critical fail, because it's designed to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna go with it. Hey, do you need an orgasm that needs saving?
Oh, that is such a corny one for a superhero. I love it.
Yeah. And then for Scorch, how would I approach someone out of the blue?
I feel like it would be like an incredibly like dirty kind of pickup
Oh
line.
no! The thing is, I'm more of a natural dom as well, so I think I already maybe you don't know this, but I actually I have two colors as Scorch. One is a color that I wear, which is mask, and then I have a color which has just pet on it. So what I would do with a pickup line is just like, hey, I got a pet collar here with your name on it, and then I immediately start putting it on.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
You need to start using that.
I've actually done similar stuff at Darklands. Then I just looked. I just saw them looking at me, and then exchanged like one sentence, and it was already, yep, put the collar on, put the leash on their knees, and they were like, just, yes, please, Scorch, take me with you.
I love that. That is amazing. No, definitely, you need to use that pickup line. Need to use it.
Yeah.
Okay, so third role. Oh, and 19. Oh, so do you have an embarrassing hookup story?
Thankfully, not really.
Okay, so you're one of the lucky ones then.
Yeah, because like I said, I mean, my boyfriend was my very first, and then from there, we've really taken it slow. For me, kink, and I said, and relationships that I built is that it's relationship with benefits. It's friends with benefits, but it starts with the friends phase. So
yeah.
If I don't even mean, I gotta have fun inside and outside the bedroom, and if it doesn't happen outside the bedroom, we're not gonna even enter the bedroom itself at all. So, and I could just
absolutely not.
Usually tell with the vibes. Quite a lot of people are like, yeah, this is not gonna work, and then just, I mean, what I have had is I've not really quite hookup nightmare stories, but like nightmare DMs, like people that approach me like out of nowhere, and then I'm trying to be nice, and then telling them not directly because that's just plain loop, but just really trying to say like, hey, I'm not really into you, I don't really have the time for this, I really don't want to do this, and then they keep messaging, they keep approaching me. It's like, please understand the social context that I'm not into you.
Yeah.
Like somebody who's just texting me for like weeks on end without me replying, like, hey, I want to do this, hey, just completely, I want to suck you off, I want to do this to you. It's like, no, just ew.
Yeah, I see that's the one thing that I didn't enjoy about my Kinkstagram is I started my Kinkstagram kind of when I first kind of joined the fetish scene back in 2019, and I made it private from the get-go because I was like, I don't want like, my work or things like that seeing me dressed in latex, because I was like, at that point I worked for a company that I was like, I'm pretty sure they straight up just fire me. So I was like, nope, not doing it. And like I would get follow requests from some of questionable individuals, shall we say. And yeah, it was just, some people would like message me and be like, oh my God, like you're absolutely gorgeous, like we should totally meet up. And I'm like, no thanks. And it would just be a constant like, oh no, we need to meet up. And it's like, no, we don't. Please leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah. It's the same. And I mean, I have the same review as well. I think if my work found out the fact that I work with students and in the education, my ass would be fired instantly. So I mean, that's the whole, it's a good cover-up story of a superhero thing is like no pics without any sort of mask. None. Zero. So I mean, that's almost. So that's just. It's a good excuse to always have something on. So that's also part of the reason why a pop-up is just so great. I mean, it covers up your identity, and what I really really like with them as well is there is so much expression possible with them on, and they're people really change. People's look really really change, and their eyes become so much more expressive, and I really really love that.
Yes, absolutely. No, I do enjoy that. There's one of the pups in the pup family who has the most gorgeous eyes ever, and he got a new hood, and oh my God, they just make his eyes pop, and just he's just got these really magical eyes, and like every time I see him I'm like, your eyes are beautiful, and he's like, yeah, you've told me before, and I'm like, I know, but I don't think you understand.
Compliment, you handsome bastard.
But yeah, no, like I just think, especially if you get the colors of your hood right, or even just the design of your hood right, and it'll just really complement your eyes. And I don't know, eyes are one of these things where I'm like, if somebody has really pretty eyes, I fall head over heels.
Oh yeah. I mean, the first time I saw my boyfriend in a pop hood, I would just. First of all, I got hard. I mean, obviously, but second, I was just lost. It was like, oh my god, this is just. I love you so much. This is.
That's amazing. All right. Okay, so I just wanted to say a big thank you to Blaze/Scorch for joining me on this episode of the podcast. Lucky guest number 4. I can't believe I'm 4 episodes in already. I kind of expected to do like 1 episode and people were like, nah, you're shit. We're not doing this. But so far it's been really good and I'm really excited to keep going with this. Do you have any final words that you would like to say?
I think the final thing I want to say, if you're actually listening to this and if you're just nervous about going to events, nervous about how things work in the kid community, nervous about superhero stuff or just anything, don't hesitate. Send me a DM, send me a message. I'll happily help you out. I mean, just I've been in your shoes and I've done the same, and it has brought me many great things, and I would love to have you experience the same. So,
no, I think that's a great way to end it. All right, well, thank you very much. I have been Dax.
I've been Blaze. Thank you much.
Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.